Hi. In Phoenix, you talked about being the light, and I really felt that was an important statement. And I would appreciate if you could do a rampage of appreciation for so many of us who want to be uplifters, and that being the light feels like it's important.
It's an analogy that people offer frequently. And it's an analogy that is annoying when you don't feel tuned in, tapped in, turned on. But when you have the personal experience of having pinched yourself off from it for a moment or a week or a longer period of time, when you are feeling melancholy or when you are feeling confused, when you know that you're not tuned in, and then you have that delicious feeling of coming back into alignment, it's like everything brightens up. It's like everything that is tangible is more delicious, more satisfying. It isn't something that anybody can ever accurately or effectively describe. It's an experience that you have to have. And in order to feel what it feels like to come into alignment or into the light, you have to have the experience of being out of it, because there has to be a relational experience before you can even know. And so what's happening to all of you is that you're continuing to expand into higher and higher frequencies. So in visual terms, in describing it like the light is just getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. And yet when you think of staring into the sunlight, you think that is too bright of a light for me to stare into. In other words, there is this light that may be too bright. So we want to introduce into this conversation a very important understanding, and that is, along with your capacity to attract the light or whatever it is, you also must be vibrationally up to speed in order to allow it. So it can never be too bright to look into. You see what we're getting at? So that's the way this life experience is for all of you. The contrast keeps causing you to reach just beyond where you are. And then you can bring yourself into alignment with that, and the satisfaction that ensues is delicious. So in the way that you mean, and in the way that we were offering it, in what you're quoting, there is a momentum in all vibration. So when you, for example, have gone to your neutral place and have managed to get some momentum going toward who you are, and have managed to raise your vibration to a substantial enough frequency that you're aligned and resonance with the whole of who you are. So who you really are is blowing and flowing through you. You're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You have good balance and good timing. Everything about you, everything that you're feeling in this moment feels wonderful. And in that state of alignment, you are many, 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 many times more influential than when you are in a state of having pinched it off. In other words, you've accessed that greater energy and you are flowing it in that way. Just flowing it gives more people access to it. But each one of them who now have access to your light have a relationship with your light. For some of them, you are too bright and they cannot stare into it. For some of them, you're not in the right place at the right time. They are not rendezvousing with you. So it has to be enough for you. Your motive in being this light cannot be in how it is affecting others. It can only be in how it feels in resonance to you as you're aligning with it, you see. So it is aligning with the light that you're really reaching for. And the benefit that you will be to others will be amazing, but it will also be contingent upon their readiness for your light. And the wonderful thing is, there's always someone who's ready for where you are. When Esther first began, and she was listening to us, and she was aware of what other teachers were saying. She gets emails every single day of people wanting to compare this to this and this to this and this to this and this to this. And she said to us, Abraham, why don't you guys get your story straight? It'd be so much easier if you would write the same book and give it to all religions. It would be so much easier if you would say the same things to everyone who is purporting to be the expression of that which you are. Why don't you just say the same things? And we said, there are as many different teachers as there are those looking for information. And if everyone were looking for the same thing, then that is what would be being offered. But it will never be that way. Everyone is in a different place. The source within you has already been to where you are now reaching for. So let's talk about this. This is the cycle. This is the cycle of that light. You were source energy before you came into this physical body. Do you accept that? You were source energy before you came into this physical body. And even though a part of that consciousness is focused in this physical body, you still are the larger part of you, that source energy. Do you get that? So here you are, and do you see that your primary function here is to explore contrast for the purpose of expanding and allowing alignment from broader perspective into that new expansion? Do you get it that you are on the leading edge of thought? Do you understand that source isn't out ahead of you and now asking you to catch up? Do you get it that you are the ones that got it all out ahead? This is the concept that most people miss altogether. The exploration of the very thing that many of you would like to be rid of is the very thing that causes you to become more than you were before. We talked about that at length. And in that becoming, there is room for jubilation. That is what life is all about. It is about this expansion. So our book, Ask and It Is Given, stated accurately that when you ask, it is given. The vibrational version of it is amassed already, and the source within you, and we include us in that statement, we move in the direction, we involve ourselves completely in this that you have created. And we take such satisfaction in the expansion that you have provided to us through the exploration of contrast that you have discovered. And because we hold no resistance, we go directly, immediately to that which you are about. And we hold the vibrational attitude, altitude, frequency. We become the light. We hold the light, and we hold it consistently so that you can feel when you're in the vicinity and when you're not. And we don't adjust it for you. We don't say, oh, they're nowhere near, bring it down a notch, 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 bring it down a notch. All there, now we're in resonance, and we feel as bad as they do. Instead, we hold true to the vibrational frequency that you've set into motion. And we maintain that momentum with our attention to it, because nothing stands still. So our attention to what you have set into motion keeps that momentum going, keeps that momentum going. And as you are looking for the light through the power of your emotions, and you discover the thought that feels better, and the thought that feels better, and the thought that feels better, you bring yourself personally, individually. It's not something that anybody can do for you. It's only that which we can influence by our exuberance and our appreciation of the way it feels to stand in the light, you see. So when we say you teach through the clarity of your example, we say you teach through your fun. You teach through the fullness. You teach through the clever things that you say and know. You teach through your upliftment. You teach through everything. You just got to ask yourself, what is it am I teaching? What momentum am I wanting to tack on to? What news am I wanting to spread? What momentum am I wanting to be part of? Am I part of the solution, or am I part of the problem? Am I beating the drum of the answer? Or am I beating the drum of the question? And there's no right or wrong in it, because it's all good. Wherever you are is where you are. We just want you to know how this whole thing fits together. We want you to feel the appreciation that we all feel for that which you are. We want you to know that when someone stands in the light, you or us, and holds someone else as their object of attention, it lights their space up, whether they get it now or not. That's getting out ahead of it. That's getting out ahead of it. That's preparing a vibration that will make it easier for them to find that place. But since they don't find it immediately, so often you think it wasn't worth it. I didn't accomplish anything. But you did, you see. You cannot create in the experience of another, and you cannot vibrate for another. But you can be as the source within you is for you. You can be the holder of the light. You can be the holder of the frequency, and it is in your consistency that you really make the difference, you see. That's really what I think, what you're reaching for in all of that. Because everyone lights up. Everyone lights up from time to time. The question is, how lighted do you remain? And the answer to that is, how good do you feel? What's your ratio? You feel good mostly? You feel bad occasionally? Feel bad mostly? You feel good occasionally? What's the balance, you see? How much alignment have you accomplished? This has been an extraordinary conversation today. We've moved into places that we have not been before. It's always that way, co-creating at its best. Our favorite thing about the conversation we've had today is the emphasis upon getting out there ahead. It's the conversation about momentum. It's the understanding that we can feel has happened within you that lets you know that you can start in a neutral place and you can nudge the momentum in the direction of what you want. And you will be, in the day that you do that, a realizer of the momentum that you've set into motion. It doesn't take much at all for you to show yourselves the power of your creation. We assign no responsibility to you whatsoever for making this world a better place, because we will not ever acknowledge that it is not the perfect place right now. We assign no responsibility to you at all about things that you should be doing differently, because we think that the way you are bumping up against the contrast of your life is providing the perfect environment for you. We adore coming to a gathering like this and feeling the balance of energy within you and reveling in the shifting of that balance over the very short amount of time that we experience together. In other words, it doesn't take much conversation about that which you know and that which you are to activate resonance within you about it, you see. And that is the light. We've enjoyed this interaction more than words can explain. Be playful about this. Be easy about it. Don't make big hairy deals about anything. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain in the vortex. Really, really, really good. I like that music. You like that music? That's how I feel.